to Art Dust with Glenda Gibson and
Me, Donna Druin.
the lovely Donna Druin. And we are going to be talking to you today about mistakes.
Yes.
I've been thinking about that. I think we originally thought we'd be talking about mistakes in works of art, but I think there are loads of other mistakes that we could talk about as well. Oh, look, I've blown Donna's mind now. She's going, no, no.
Good. Well, I was thinking about the fear of experimentation because people worry about making mistakes and they worry that they've got to get their work perfect.
Go on
And that
then.
stops them from doing it. They just go, oh, no, I can't do that. I could never sit down and draw that because I would get it all wrong. And it's literally the sentences I've had people say to me. I
Yeah,
know I can't do that. No, I would never do that because I wouldn't, and you're like, you can't make it perfect. There is no perfect.
yeah,
So there is no perfect. Just doesn't exist. So you're only ever going to get better the more you do it. But you've just got to get over that. Oh, but I want it to be like this. Well, it's not going to turn out like that. It's going to turn out somewhere getting towards that.
mm, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I was thinking about the perfection thing, that even the ultra realists that do things in so they look exactly like the thing,
Yeah.
um, even that is actually not perfect. And it
No.
can't it is still a sort of an abstract. Not
Yes.
not in the usual term we mean abstract, but it's not actually the thing
No.
because it can't be. It
Yeah.
just can't actually be. And also you are drawing 3D things on a 2D surface.
Yes.
So
So it's
you're
all it's an illusion of the
it's an
thing.
illusion, yeah.
It's not actually, yeah. So you're going to make mistakes because you're not going to get like you can't actually draw a human being a human being because we breathe, and when we breathe we move. So
Yeah.
when you're drawing something that essentially is still, and then you're trying to capture the thing of the person being alive but without it being, but it's motionless. It's never going to be that person properly because we move. We you know
Yeah.
we have hair moves in the wind, and and I so when I go out drawing, I have what I call my mistakes book, my warm up book, because I know that my brain is still in, oh, I'm walking, trying to find a spot to draw from where I'm not going to get in people's way. And so I get all like the overthink thing in my head. So once I get out of the overthink and I have what I class as my little,
Mhm.
then I can concentrate and get into the flow of being out. But it's not, I'm never going to capture that field in that moment exactly. That's never going to happen. So I have learned
Mm.
to let go of being perfect. I'm never going to be able to paint that perfectly. It's only ever going to be how
Mm.
me and my response to that space. But so
Uh,
many people get worried about being perfect.
yes. And getting it, yeah, getting it exactly right or right in worrying about proportions and things like that. And those things, there is a place for understanding those technical things,
Yes.
and it's worth doing it. But now, now I've kind of learnt them. I'm not an expert at them at all, but now I've learnt them. I actually don't really want to use them. I want to do something that is, in fact, I'm moving much more towards abstract, where
Yeah.
you don't know what it is. It's not a thing. It's just it's just lines and paint and stuff. And but that's what excites me about a painting is the textures and the colors
Yeah.
and the tone, which is more important than color. My little strap line. Um, that's what excites me about those sort of
Yeah.
paintings. It doesn't have to be a something. I do paintings of things.
Yes, your teapot's behind you.
Yes, my teapot's behind me.
Yes.
But I'm being very called to doing that more expressive painting because what I notice about your painting, your drawings and things, is you're trying to capture, you're definitely always after the colors because
Yes.
I know you're doing that. But again, if your box of paints does not have that exact color, or you can't mix it quickly from what you've got sitting there,
Yeah.
it's not going to be exactly the same. You just have to get it as close as you can. Um, and also, your lines have just they you can tell they're your lines because
Yes.
we all have a physiological way of drawing. It's like our fingerprint. Um, we do how hard we press, how long we
Yeah.
all those sorts of things. They are individual to each person. So really, when you're painting a painting, you're capturing more of yourself
Yeah.
than the actual thing. There's something about you that's always in your painting. So
Yeah.
nothing's ever a mistake.
No.
You can't get it wrong. Now, you can be more happy with something and less
Yes.
happy with something else.
Yes. You can. You can always be, yeah, you can go, no, I don't like that. It's a bit like I thought this was a really good idea for dinner last night and it was really sad. I was like, oh, this is not nice. And the kids were sitting there poking it like, and they just going, we're hungry, and they just ate it. Like, but they were like, yeah, yeah, it was not a great experiment. But if you don't experiment, you're not going, that's always that combination is going to sit in your head until you try it. It's like,
Yeah, me too. I have to experiment. I have to do
yeah,
things, and often straight away. I'm getting better at going, no, I don't have to do that now. I can do it like tomorrow or something,
yeah,
especially with food things. But the other thing that you do is you like your little book of all your little rectangles, your tiny little rectangles that you did in collage, like
yeah,
hundreds of them. If you're on YouTube, you can see a painting behind Donna of little tiny squares. It was kind of like that, although that is a completely different painting and different
yes,
idea. But these
yeah,
were all little tiny things, and she was just practicing. You're
yeah,
just practicing, weren't you, doing
yeah.
abstract
I was,
landscapes and you're
yeah,
using
and
your collage up.
yeah, and I was using my collage and I was looking at composition and I was looking at lots of different things. I was looking at composition, colors, um, yeah, and I was thinking about what I wanted to get across. What is it that I am doing? What is it that what is it that I really want to achieve with my pictures? Yes, just kind of reconnecting to me because I think after Christmas, because I do a lot of Christmas, um, I kind of forget what is it that I do? What is it? What is the thing that I do? Yeah. So yes, it just helps me get back into. It's
Yeah.
good. I enjoy doing them, but I did find actually doing a whole sketchbook of them are actually quite challenging because I was like going, but I also found that loose because I was making myself sit and do them every day. Um, I had I don't know how many pages there are of them actually, but I was really began to then become each page became an idea rather than it being. So I want to just do birds in different colors in the sky. Like, okay, let's just cut up loads of little tiny shapes, and it made me work differently. I can't explain it very well. Sorry.
Mm. Yeah. So doing things repetitively, and I mean that's the 100 days thing.
It is.
You get into it and you think, oh, this is just going to be silly doing this for 100 days. But after quite a few days, you start to see patterns
Yeah.
and different things that you want to explore and play with. So there's children don't make mistakes when they
No.
play. Like you don't
No.
say that's bad playing.
No, you don't.
It's playing, and they're exploring, and they aren't interested in having a finished product. I do like to have a finished product personally,
Yes.
um,
I
even
think
if
adults do though. I think adults feel like I've I think when we are children, our concept of time is very different. And I think it comes down to this. When we're children, we have all the time in the world for everything because, a day is such a large fraction of our lives. And so we can take all day to do something and we're not and all a whole week and it doesn't matter that it takes that long to do it. But when we're older, we can time it feels more precious because we're like,
mm,
we know we've got less of it coming forwards. So we kind of feel like we have to make something with the time we've got rather than going, actually, this painting could take me 6 weeks
mm.
and just put it up and paint it and go backwards and forwards and leave it.
I think it's also, for me, it's a sense of waste. I've wasted my time doing
Yeah,
that and now it's not anything. But that's not true. That is not a mistake. And it's because I want to say two things.
right.
Sometimes if you do something and it doesn't work, you have learned something from that.
Yes.
If it isn't working for you, surely you know why, or at least you should be asking, why isn't that working?
Yeah.
Why is that not how I want it to be? What do I need to learn? What do I need to add? What do I need to take away? Or, to be honest, it could be, is this the media I should be working in? Because
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing acrylics for various reasons for about a year, hardly any doing any oil painting. I've just come back to oil painting and I've got to relearn it. It's such a thick
Yeah.
paint and I've got to relearn how to apply it and how the more of the subtleties that you can have in
Yeah.
how you apply oil paint is quite different to how you apply acrylics. And I'd kind of forgotten and I had to relearn it and practice it. It's like anything that you do, especially if you want to do it well, like driving a car. You don't get in a car and just drive it,
No.
and you've got to learn how to do it. And even when you know how to do it, you can make driving mistakes.
Oh, yeah. And also, each car's got like not all the thingies on the stalks around your steering wheel are in the same spot. They're different. So
You can tell Donna doesn't drive the
you
thingies
get
on
in a
the
car
stalks.
and you have to look at this. Well, there are stalks with
They
little
are.
levers, and you just like you have to look and go, well, where's that? Where's this?
That's
Where are all
true.
these things? So you kind
I
of have to.
know.
Every car is its own thing anyway.
Yeah.
And then you get cars where you can't even open the door because you're like, well, how does that work? Where's the handle for that?
Yep. It took me a while to work out how to open a Tesla's door.
Yeah,
I know now. But yeah. So even if you make a mistake or a mess, you are learning something,
yeah,
and that can help you. Now, the other thing I want to say is, and I'm teaching this more and more. As people start a painting, you get to a stage where the painting it's called, a lot of people call it the ugly stage, but it's the
yeah.
stage where you've put you've put stuff on, it should start looking like something, but it actually looks dreadful
It looks like
because
nothing. Yeah,
the colors aren't working, it's got not a lot happening about it. Um, and what people don't understand is that is a stage, a step. It's not there yet.
yeah,
So taking it from that to the finished stage, you still you're only halfway when you
yeah.
do paintings like that. And you shouldn't stop there
No,
because you should
but you
keep
should
going.
abandon it or scrape it off. Go, no, no, keep going. Just keep going. Just don't
Yeah,
stop. It's a bit like talking to people who are on their second year of their degree and they're going, oh, this is a real slog. I'm like, yes, you're in the middle bit. You're in the slog zone. This is the first year is all fascinating and fun and new, and then the second year is this intense period where you're trying to cram in as much as possible, and you kind of go, oh, this is really like, yes, it is. And in the third year, you're then in that stage of like, especially when you're doing art, it's just make, like finish, mount, do. It's a whole other, and you're meeting all these deadlines, and yeah, it's a whole other thing. So each
yeah,
year's got its own experience, but the second year is the grind year. It's just the year of you're just, yeah,
yeah.
keep at it. Don't stop your second year of your degree.
And don't stop halfway through your painting.
Exactly. Just
Just
keep
keep
going.
keep going because you can always and what I notice about people that are new artists is that they don't understand layers and how to get
Yeah.
enough layers in. So in the middle stage, you don't have all the layers in. So you can ask yourself, well, what can I add, or
Yeah.
Sometimes what you're adding is you're taking something away, you're painting over something.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you'll paint the background in at the end, or there's all sorts of things, but there's not mistakes.
No.
And also, I don't think people realize that the painting talks back to you. So,
Yes, because you might discover that you really like. I did an experiment one year where I was painting, and then every time I found a bit of the painting that I liked, I stuck masking tape over it, and then I carried on painting. And then at the end, I pulled all the masking tape off, and I realized that actually you do have to do like it's a mental experiment, just for me because I do that. Um, but I found it a really interesting process because at the end there were bits that didn't have all the colours in, and they all had, and you can almost see the history of the painting whilst you're doing it, but you
mm,
have to have all the layers to make the whole painting work.
mm, mm.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, you do. And
it's
there's loads of layers that you paint over, but they're still under there. In fact, not most, but a lot of my most successful paintings are something I've painted over the top of a completely different painting.
yes,
And I'm not even sure why it works to a certain extent, but it is that those layers and that history
yeah.
that's under there.
I think sometimes it's the paintings that I've sold of the ones that have got loads of texture in as well, because you've got a history of painting. It's
Mm,
a new canvas is just really bland. It's just that, and it's like you almost need a couple of layers of paintings underneath. So I always do that whole, I gesso them to make them as smooth as possible because I don't actually like the canvas texture. And then I put on, I might just do some wild sketches on it, and then I'll put on a layer of paint over the top of that, that just to like an underpainting color, like a red or an orange, and then I'll paint on top of that, and then I might just go, oh no, actually I've changed my mind completely, and then I'll just repaint it. Like the other day, I went to my shed to drop off some bubble wrap, and I stood there and I went, oh, I know exactly what I'm doing with this painting, and I stood and sketched it out, and then I left the paint, and Paul's like, that was the longest time you were in the shed for. You were only meant to be in there 5 minutes. I was like, yeah, well, I had this idea, and I saw the canvas, and I knew. I looked at that canvas and I knew what I was doing. It just, so I had to do it. I had to put all the base down so that I could go back and do it another day because I had people coming around.
uh, yeah, yeah, well, that happens. So that's mistakes in our art, but what other? I think we have brushed on some of the other mistakes. We one of the mistakes is stopping too soon.
Yes.
Another mistake is having too clear of an idea in your head of what it's meant to look like,
Yeah.
because you can be part way through a painting and it can just morph. It'll say you need to do this or you need to do that, or something will work or something won't work, or you'll put things in and
Yeah.
take things out as you go along. Um, because it's like it is a bit like a conversation
It is.
with
So
a
you get that
painting.
when you do the reduction liner cut, you have the same sort of thing. So you'll get like two layers in and you'll go, actually, I want to put in, and you might, even though you might have print plan, a print plan blender. So
Look at
like this
Donna getting all
This
technical.
is my print plan for one of my lino cuts. So I've divided it into colour, texture, shape. I've got some squiggles of blue, but actually you can't see them. There is some squiggles of blue up there. And just so I've got a, but this is quite loose. I know my print is not going to necessarily, it will have lots of the elements of this, but
Mm,
it won't be, but I know that I will go, well, actually, I think this colour here needs to change. And you just have to be aware of that. And there's nothing wrong with changing your plan halfway through. And just note it down. Just go, well,
no,
actually,
yeah,
because
you discover things as you go. Well, I guess it's the discovering.
yes,
You don't know the whole lot at the beginning, and that's I love that. If I've got to paint something by numbers, basically, if I know I've got to put this color, that shape there, and color it in this color with this color, I
yeah,
actually find that boring.
Yes.
And
I can't do it. People give me colouring in books and I'm like, thank you. No. Or a book that's full of like things to cut out and stick together. Yeah, no.
no.
I don't want to make a bunny rabbit with carrying a basket. Thank you. That's very nice of you to think of me, but no.
Yes, all the thinking pre-done, all the creative aspects already in there, all the artistic decisions made. I
Yes.
love making those artistic decisions and I
Do
love
you?
challenging myself to say, well, what if I didn't do it that color? What if I did it
Yeah.
completely opposite color? And so my two teapots in the background, one's got a blue background, one's a yellow teapot with a blue background, one's a
Yeah.
blue teapot with a yellow background. So I haven't thought, what is the, I just chose a color and tried it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the thing is, just because it worked on that painting doesn't mean it will necessarily work on another
No.
painting. You might have to adjust what you do on another painting.
Yeah. I've
Um,
got whole sketchbooks full of research because I just like I think a workbook and then in there it's got all my sketches of like for because I've got this idea in my head about a collar that I want to make. And I know that it's the shape. I'm struggling to get the shape right at the moment. That's fine. But yes, I have lots of like different types of printmaking ideas going on. But if I don't have the workbook where I can just scribble in my ideas and notes
mm,
down,
absolutely.
it will just get lost. And it'll just be like, and so I can go back and look in my workbook and go, oh yeah, keeping track of that idea. Yes, I'll come back to that. Do some more like doodles, shapes, sketches, research
Yeah.
photographs of people doing that position so I can get that shape. It's the shape of
Yeah.
yeah.
So I guess in a way what you're saying, if we come back to mistakes, is it's not a mistake, it's just that you haven't learnt that bit yet. You
Yes.
haven't worked out how to do that bit. And that's what I love. I love having something to work out and
Yeah.
needing to do it. And I don't necessarily want to draw, 20 people in a certain position, but I can do it if
Yeah.
it's what I need for a
Yeah.
thing. So, my teapots that I've painted, I did sketches of them, photographed them in all sorts of different positions,
Yeah.
before I actually started painting, because I mean, you can adjust oil painting as you go, but there's a certain commitment once you've got oil painting on that's
Yes.
there. Yeah. So so mistakes can be stopping too soon. It can be
A fear
wanting,
of
yeah, fear of um
not
not
getting it
get
right.
not getting it right, which there isn't a right. You just paint it until somebody said, I don't know who this was, but where he was asked, how do you know when a painting's finished? And he says, well, when it's not annoying me anymore.
Yes.
And I get that. I look at I come back and I go, oh no, that bit's not right. Well,
Yeah.
Donna's walked in and said the ear's in the wrong place. Have to scrape the ear off. That was an oil painting that I scraped the ear off
Oh,
3 times.
because
But
you came up to me and went, "This isn't painting's not right," and I know what it is because you get almost blind. You don't see it,
yeah,
and it takes you. It takes sometimes it literally takes somebody else to go, "Oh, that's just in the wrong spot." I mean, it was you'd really struggle to draw the ear as well. It's like you're going, "No, this isn't right," and it's just in the wrong spot. You just have to
yeah.
move it up. But then it was great.
Then it was absolutely fine, and
Yeah,
it's not bothering you anymore,
oh,
and
exactly.
you can see that. Yeah. Uh, yeah, the other mistake you make is being using a media that you don't feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot
Some
of people think that, I guess, because watercolor is fairly accessible and cheap and not messy, and that a lot of people start with watercolor, but not everybody suits water. I don't suit watercolor.
watercolor is it's a if you see a watercolor I really admire. There's some really beautiful watercolors. I was at Lampert on Saturday and I was no on Friday and I was there Saturday and Sunday as well, but on Friday I noticed this particular watercolorist's work and I stood and looked and went, that's real skill because she's learned how to put down the layers and trust the watercolor to do, because so much of it is actually trusting the media to do what it needs to do and not forcing it. And so many people just think, oh, watercolors, they give them to kids, but actually it's almost the most soul destroying. You're better off giving kids acrylics or oils because there's more manipulation.
Don't
And
give kids oils.
I was given
Donna,
oils.
Donna doesn't mind the utter mess and destruction that these things can cause. But she's
Yeah,
absolutely right. Give them some sort of thicker
yeah,
paint that's
yeah,
more immediate, and because watercolors is very complicated
yeah. And you
in
have
the
to,
use of layers.
and also you get really disappointed because when you put it down and you see this really lovely, vibrant color, and then it dries.
Yes.
And then you can see kids going, but I put on this, and yeah, you just need to put another layer on. And it's getting them to understand that watercolor is really about building up delicate layers. But yes, I did actually stand and admire this person's, like, she must have spent
Yeah.
hours. They were meticulous and beautiful and pristine, but I'm also going, I could not do it. My watercolors are like wild strikes of like a
Yeah.
kingfish went past blue.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
not
They're sketches.
it's sketches. Yeah,
Watercolors are sketches. Yeah.
yeah. It's a very different thing. It is a very different thing. But yeah. Yes, yeah, I do think that giving kids watercolors. I mean, especially when you buy those cheap sets of watercolors. There is that thing about buying better quality materials because as soon as you give a kid or a child or even
Hmm.
anyone decent materials with really lovely high count of pigment in, the look on their faces when they go, "Oh, I've been trying." Because especially if you get a cheap coloring set and you've got pink, that pink pencil does not put down pink. I don't know what color that is that it's putting down. That's not pink. It's so pale. And you can see kids like scoring the paper trying to get a color out of a pencil. Whereas if you have slightly nicer pencils,
Mm.
you can get the color is just is that
Yeah.
they don't make holes in a piece of paper trying to get the color that they want to put down. They realize they can
Yeah.
just put down it, and it's such a difference. It
So
changes how you respond to art as well, and how you then don't get despairing about,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So that's a mistake. You should always
yeah,
buy the best quality materials you can afford.
yes,
That's the rule of thumb.
yeah.
And
Also,
that goes for the paper that they draw on as
yeah.
well, and
Also, don't
all
buy
that.
a whole range of paintbrushes. Just buy a thin one, a medium one, and a big one. You don't need loads of them. Just and it goes with printmaking too. Like a lot of printmakers, they go, oh, oh, I've really discovered printmaking, really love this, so go and buy all the tools. No, just collect the ones you know you're genuinely going to use, which is why I've got a tin with like a real mismatch of different makes of tools, but I've got really skinny ones, I've got flat ones, and because I know that I will use these repeatedly over and over and over rather than having a whole range. Yeah, it'd be really cool to have a whole set with all the different sizes, but actually, I would only probably use three. I probably wouldn't use
Yeah.
they'd all
Yeah.
sit on being pristine.
Yeah. That's true. Well, Donna, I think that's enough about mistakes.
Yeah, I think it is.
So, I hope that was helpful for people. We do this podcast to share what we know. We don't know
Yeah.
everything.
No, we don't.
It's just us, but we
But
are
we're
now
yeah,
experienced artists, and we do know something. So hopefully you got something out of that.
yeah, and we're learning all the time. Yeah, we don't. You don't stop learning. You don't stop pushing and trying to develop stuff. So
Yeah,
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 and that's exciting.
yes.
Yes, it is. Okay, goodbye from us.
Bye.